Kalamakan here. This interview was conducted at Flushing Meadows Park just before the Canal No.2 region.
Alright, I'm here with Dr. Harold Persaud and I'll be just asking a few questions.
As a person of Canal No.2, can you tell us some of the schools you attended?
I attended several schools. I attended Kawall Canadian Mission School at that time and Potential Secondary. And then I moved on to Student of Kawall College, Turkine, and UW, University of West Indies.
And what is your field?
Oh, I am a practicing psychologist, and I also teach psychology. I'm a lecturer in psychology at the university.
Now, why do you start to study psychology?
Actually, I started to study psychology by mere coincidence. I was influenced by a teacher, actually, a co-worker, because I was a teacher here in New York City and New Jersey, and the kids were very difficult, for me to discipline, for me to redirect their behaviors. And there was a psychologist in the school, and I used to talk to her, and she said, why don't you get into this field? Because you have great insight into kids' behaviors and stuff. So she was like my mentor to me, and that's how I really started.
What would you say is your high points in the field of psychology?
My high points in the field of psychology is when I'm able to reach a kid or to reach someone and solve their problems. And I give them an opportunity to express themselves, and cure their problem areas.
Do you think your upbringing in Canal has turned you into the gentleman you are today?
Yes, most definitely.
And anyone has influenced you in Canal especially?
Well, there are many great teachers in Canal that I could actually look up to, because they set the tone, they set their expectations, and the discipline was there. And the discipline kind of groomed me for the man I am today. And I am very thankful for Kawall School, for Potential Secondary School, because from there my journey started. And they kind of molded me into the man I am today.
Now at Potential, it was very difficult to travel from Canal to go to Potential. And how were you able to cope with that situation, with transportation and going to school and be on time and things like that?
Right, you're right, because the roads were in deplorable state at that time. And actually we used to go by speedboat from Canal to I used to stay with an aunt in Potential scheme there. And then when I had to travel, I used to travel by the sugar estate truck. I used to hide within the cane cutters, because the dispatcher, he would kind of get you off the truck, So I used to hide there, and that's how it was very difficult at that time.
I also, myself, went to Potential, and I remember that we used to travel with these cars that would pack us like sardines. And when we would come out there, you could barely stand up. Were you part of that?
Yes, sometimes.
Now, Guyana has one of the highest suicide rates in the world. What do you think is responsible and what can be done?
Coping skills to deal with problem areas. I can remember when I was in high school, several of my classmates committed suicide because they had love problems and problems at home. There were various reasons. So I was asking the government of Guyana to set up suicide hotlines, to train people in the school, to have guidance counselors in the school, social workers, that whenever a student has a problem, they could talk about their problems. Especially the religious institutions also, the churches, the manders, the mosques, they could play a major role here. We need to tap that community spirit.
But why do you think people there are just decide to end their life if they have a problem? Why do you think that's the problem?
Because there's a lot of hopelessness, there's a lot of helplessness, and there's no one that you can go to really to talk. If you have a problem, like over here, every school over here has a guidance counselor, they have a social worker, they have a school psychologist, the principal, the vice principal. There's someone there you can talk to. In Guyana, who can you go to if you have problem areas? There's no one to go to. And many of the time you cannot talk to your parents because your parents have anger problems, they have their own problems, they have their own difficulties that they are dealing with. So that's a major problem.
Do you think that the parents are part responsible for that?
I would say yes, because the parent need to have a relationship with their kids. Not only to yell at the kid, scream at the kid, cursing at the kid. You need to give a kid a hug. Talk to your kid, build a relationship with the kid. Stay away from alcohol. A lot of homes in Guyana alcohol is being consumed. And whenever the father is drunk, his personality changes. And it's difficult to communicate, it's difficult to talk to someone who is drunk.
In your experience, do you you ever know anybody who committed suicide?
Yes, yes.
Was it a relative or friend?
Both, both.
And were you able to like help them, or they didn't want to be helped?
Well, they committed suicide in Guyana when I was over here, so
Okay.
it was difficult for you to provide an intervention and to talk to them. Right now I'm talking to some people by Skype in Guyana. I try to assist people in Guyana by Skype or by the telephone, free counseling. Also, when they had the massacre at Luzignan, the Luzignan massacre, I took a team of psychologists to Guyana. We went to Luzignan primary school. We did intervention with the kids there, and we went into the community. I was invited by a Hindu women's organization. They volunteered to pay my airfare, my accommodation, but I provided my own airfare, my own accommodation.
And what was their response? Will you say it was positive?
Yes, I would say it was very positive because even though that occurred several years ago, some of those people still keep in touch with me. We still talk, we still exchange emails, and I think that's good. And they have healed. Many of them have healed.
Thank you very much, Dr. Harold Persaud. It was nice talking to you.